we are going to be looking at the worst 5 signings in the Premier League this season. Now, I have one question to you. But no, I don't even have a question. I'm putting him in no matter what. I was going to ask you if loan players counts in loan signings, and in my opinion, they do because it's cost a sugar ton of money, and you can probably tell who I'm talking about from just that statement. Do you want to go with your list first, and then I'll do mine, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. You go first.
I'll go first. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Right. Just looking at my list, I'm trying to rank their orders. Right, I'll put him in number 5 because he is a lone player. Raheem Sterling. Uh, Look, Raheem Sterling was a great player when he played for Man City, and he was a good player when he played for Liverpool. How long ago was that? It's been a long time, and Chelsea bought him in, and he weren't good enough. So I do not get why Arsenal, a challenger in the Premier League, or challenging for the Premier League title, thought Raheem Sterling would be the answer to their prayers. He hadn't been good for Chelsea in the season before. He'd had maybe 1 or 2 appearances where he played alright. I think he had an okay game against Leicester in the FA Cup final, I want to say, semi-finals, or something like that, quarterfinals, whatever they went through to. But other than that, he'd been poor. Arsenal took a gamble, not a massive gamble because they didn't buy him, on him being enough, and he was nowhere near enough. We look at Arsenal's failure to sign a striker. Well, if they hadn't had Sterling, maybe they could have got a lone striker in who might have done something, and it could have been a different season for them. Next in, I am going for. He's still early doors here, but Kushnerov for Man City. The excessive fee that they spent has Mikhail Mudryk written all over it. I haven't seen an impressive performance from him yet. Still time for him to improve, but I think it's okay. Third, I'm going for someone from Liverpool, Carvalho, sold over to Brentford. I watched him when we signed him for Liverpool and wanted him to do so well, but the drop off in his performances, and he might do well in the Championship or in a foreign league where it's not as physical as the Premier League. And I'm not saying the Championship isn't physical, but there's a technical quality that he has that would work there. But he is not strong enough for the Premier League. It was a waste of money, really, from Brentford. And they could have got people better. Xerxes next. Can't score a goal. Man United are where they are because they have 2 strikers who cannot score. And look, I get it. Xerxes has some creative qualities, but they didn't sign him to be a creator. They signed him to score goals. I don't know why people now go on about him. Oh, yeah, but he can create stuff. It's Højlund who doesn't score. No, Xerxes was a striker who was signed over with some reputation of scoring in Italy and hasn't done it because he's not good enough. And my final worst signing is Fulkrug for West Ham. I mean, I had so much high hopes for him at the start of the season. I thought he was going to be the one that would push West Ham on, but quite poor in the end, in my opinion.
I was going to include him in my list, but I let him off because he has been injured quite a lot this season.
Yeah,
He's, I mean, no, because he's only started
but
9 games.
but a lot of that was also from him not being selected, not due to injury as well. And that to me says that he hasn't done enough in training.
Maybe no. I don't know. For me,
I'm more
didn't
looking at
include
the
him.
start of the season, I think, rather than the second half.
Oh yeah,
The
totally
start
agree with you.
the start of the season, he was meant to be the one that would push West Ham on at the start, and he just didn't. Especially after the Euros and all the talk about him, and also he's a 30-year-old striker when they bought him, who cost a fair bit of money. And,
Yeah,
and we're still, I think for the last 3 or 4 seasons, I think we've gone. West Ham are good. Antonio's an alright player, but they need a striker. And we're sat here 4 seasons on still saying the same thing, and it's still a hole they need to fill.
yeah.
But go ahead with your 5.
So I was going to say this might be controversial, but I don't think it is. At number 5, I'm going Gundogan.
Yeah, fair.
I just think the player that left Man City, I mean, he was amazing. He could have been considered the player of the year that year, for the
He
season
had a
that year,
shout. Yeah, yeah.
quite easily. He could have been in for a shout of it. Went to Barcelona, it didn't really work out for him. Came back. He has been the shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
It's not as if he suffered from injuries. He wasn't injured at Barca. Do you know what I mean? He's come back and he's just not that same
The
player.
passion.
He's not.
The
Yeah, I
passion's
don't
gone.
know. It's his age. I'd say it's his age, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I just expected so much more. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's coming back," and City are gonna do it again. They're gonna have that midfield, especially when Rodri got injured. I
Yeah.
thought Gundogan will step in and take that commanding role that he might start dictating the play a little bit, and he just hasn't. It's just fallen short.
I can't really remember him
Uh,
playing.
he's played 22 games this season.
Is that a start or just appearances?
Starts I think.
Wow. And I can't put a good
At
performance to his
number
name.
no,
Carry on.
exactly. At number 4, and I'm surprised you didn't have this one. To say the teams he's played for, Mateus de Ligt. From the money they know, listen,
Yeah.
the money they look at where they are in the league, the money they paid for him. He was a Bayern out offcast. If he wasn't good enough for Bayern, why are Man United buying him? There's clearly a reason that Bayern are happy for him to be able to go. And
Which is why.
he's just defensively, he just looks lost.
Hmm.
His defensive positioning is so bad. He just looks like a lost sheep every time he's in defense. People run at him and he doesn't know which way to turn.
Yeah. I wanted to get one from every team, and I looked at Man United, and I was between Xerxes and him, and I thought, what's been
Uh,
worse, Man United's attack or Man United's defense? And I personally
see,
thought their attack has been worse than their defense.
see, now you make me feel biased.
Go on, keep going.
So at number 3 for me, it has to be Ben Brereton Diaz.
Hmm.
He has not scored a single goal this season. As a striker, to come in and pin your hopes on a striker that is going to keep you up in the Premier League, he has been abysmal.
Do you not think he was signed as a
He's
championship striker, as in to help him next season?
no.
No, he was there.
Has it,
They had no
they've
chance of
signed
staying up.
they've signed him. He didn't score a goal, and then they've sent him off. Didn't they ship him off to the Championship?
I
They
have no
loaned him out to
idea.
the Championship. I'm pretty sure he got loaned to Sheffield United.
Yeah, so then he comes back and keeps him in the championship, keeps
No,
him back up next year.
no. If you're coming up to the Premier League, you're buying Premier League caliber players that you think that's going to do it for you,
All
and
right,
he's going to keep. And he just didn't. For me, it's just poor. It's for a promoted team is poor business that
yeah,
personally. At number 2, I have just like you,
Xerxes.
Xerxes.
Yeah, hmm.
I don't need to say much more because you've already covered all the bases on it. He is in number 9.
Yeah,
Well, that's what they signed him as.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
Man United fans will now say he's a number 10. And
He
we know
isn't.
that doesn't work.
He's not. Yeah,
And so this is the big one, the number 1. And I don't know why you didn't go for this one.
go on.
João Felix.
I let it off because he went out on loan.
No, no, no.
That's
Chelsea,
the only
Chelsea,
reason.
Chelsea, Chelsea signed him on loan a couple of seasons ago. It didn't work then.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
wasn't good enough then. Yeah.
yeah,
He went back to Atletico Madrid. No, sorry. Yeah, back to Atletico Madrid. What did he do there? Nothing. He then Chelsea thought, oh yeah, he's done nothing. Let's sign him permanently.
hmm,
Sign him permanently. What did he do? Nothing. Didn't get game time. And so what have they done? Loaned him out.
yeah,
Like, how much money do you want to spend on a lad? Like, he doesn't give anything. He looks like he's frustrating to watch because when he gets on the ball, he looks like he's going to do something. Like he's just going to explode
yeah,
and he's going
absolutely.
to just make something happen. But he doesn't. For me, he's too weak. He gets pushed up ball too easy.
Yeah,
And for the price tag, the money that they've spent between the loan and the transfer, to then loan him straight out off
yeah.
to Milan. Just for me, he has to be number 1. He's the worst signing by far this season.
I think he's the worst financial signing, or most clueless signing. I'd agree. The only reason I exclude him, like I said, is he went out on loan, and I know he wasn't doing anything anyway. But yeah, it just as a person who was only there for half a season and then kicked out on loan, I don't know. And Chelsea in
I mean,
general, I mean, I mean, you've seen Nkunku.
Financial.
I mean, you look at Nkunku, right? Who is absolutely leaving this summer. They've guaranteed that he's moving on and he's going. And how much did they spend on him? And he was meant to be the one. I mean, he was the player of the season in the Bundesliga. I'm pretty sure he got like 7 player of the months. He signs for Chelsea and can't kick a football and blows up an occasional balloon. You know,
He got injured though.
he
did have a
did.
massive injury.
He did,
and
but he's had the recovery time now. Like we're now talking 2 seasons on. It wasn't this
But-
season he signed; it was last season.
Nkunku's been given the game time. In the Premier League, he just didn't do anything in the Premier League.
Exactly.
And look at where he scored his goals in Europe against third world country teams.
There is a talent in Nkunku. I don't want to go too harsh on him because I remember when he came on against Liverpool, we were already 4-0 up, I think, at the time, but he got the ball, turned it in the box really nicely and put a perfect finish into the corner, and you thought he might kick on from there.
He's not a number 9.
I
He's not a
think
number 9.
I think
he's a
Nkunku,
10.
like Felix, both need a move away from England. If I was Nkunku, I'd go back to Germany and play out there. If I was Felix, I'd probably go to Portugal and play out there personally. They both need to move away. And I think, Nkunku could maybe compete again. Felix, I think he needs to drop right back and go to a league where he will be at a Sporting, probably win the league, something like that. And have some good performances in the Champions League. Maybe he'll refine his form and go from there. But yeah, that's our worst 5 signings. But we've also got a more positive light to look on, haven't we? With our best 5 signings of the Premier League season. And I have to say, I had a big old list. I've currently got 7 in front of me, and I'm still looking at it like, who do I trim down? Because so many good options. I'm going to let you go first on this one, as I went first last time. Yeah.
Well, like you said, you have a selection of 7. I've got a selection of 10.
Oh, I cut through. You can only pick 5. You can only pick 5. We'll talk about the others after, but not until after both lists are done.
For me, so I'm going 5th best first.
Yeah.
5th best for me, I'm gonna have to say Marmoush. Personally, he's been great. He's been amazing. He's scored like 9 goals since he joined. What?
It cost a lot.
No, but
they-
money. No, yeah, but the Premier League is a.
I mean, look, it's hard to say. And there's two schools of thought. I went more for wow, they got him kind of on a bargain. He's changed their season. For me, Marmoush hasn't changed Man City's season. Yeah, he's scored some bangers and he's got some good goals. He also cost 75 million. That's like Haaland when Man City signed him. All right, yeah, you could put him as the signing of the season. Makes sense. But
you can't compare Haaland.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, but like what you're getting when you spend that money almost. Marmoush at the time of signing was the second best attacker in Europe, behind Mo Salah. I understand your arguments and why he's in the list, but I think when you put that much money onto a player, they better be in that list.
Yeah, but exactly. So he should be in the list. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So he should be in the list. You'd still put him in there.
Yeah, I think there's better value for money signings, but I wouldn't disagree on his performances that he should be there.
Are we counting loans?
I have not. And I
Or
also
you counted loans for on the worst deals.
yeah, but you haven't bought a player if you've got one loan.
But you haven't
Well, sorry. What I mean is you've got.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, like you kind of. Go on, say who it was. You have an honourable mention.
I was gonna go Marco Asensio.
Yeah, for me. Yeah, because you could pick out loads of them, but also he's been better outside the Premier League.
Yeah, I suppose Champions League has been good. Okay, right. I will go 4. Ismail Assar.
Yep, fair.
He's been brilliant. I think it's been great for Palace. It's been great for the person who's benefited from it most, Eze,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he's got that. It's taken a bit of pressure off him. It's given somebody else for Palace to be able to run with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's also given someone someone that's going
Mateta
to
to
whip the
knock it
ball
to.
in for Mateta.
Yeah, and
As
Munoz
you
to
see,
overlap.
yeah, as we see in the FA Cup final,
Yep, absolutely.
it says they held up the ball, not it to Eze. Eze then whacked it out to Sarr, back into Eze. You know what I mean? Like
You forgot
it's
Munoz in that move, but yeah.
yeah. But I just think he's he's not scored a ton of goals, he's not scored a ton of assists, but he's just been so good for them
Yep.
that he's just changed their season. That I expect. And what did they sign for? About 7 million.
15 million.
15, where am I getting 7 million from?
I don't know, 15 million euros. So that might be 7 million plus add-ons, maybe.
No, it's about 12 million. So
Yeah,
something
but
like
I was
that.
just thinking
But
they've had its
even for that
add-ons.
money, I just think it's a ridiculously good signing. At number 3, I am gonna go Mikel Moreno.
Okay, yeah, fair.
I think he's kept Arsenal in the top 4.
Great from set
I think
pieces.
I think without him, they genuinely without Moreno, I don't think they got stayed in the top 4. Personally,
I think the only... I agree with you on Marino. I think the only thing I would say is if he wasn't there, someone else may have stepped in. Declan Rice maybe goes higher up even more. Who knows?
but then
But
they lose what he brings
Jorginho
in the
party
midfield.
and
Though.
stuff. But yeah, I agree to an extent.
There's a reason that
To
him
say
as
out
he
of
was
top
brought into
four,
the
to say out of top
he
four, in
was
my opinion, is a bit far. But I think they'd certainly be in this final battle more than rather than getting out of it last week.
do you know what it is for me is I'm struggling for offensive players really for team of the season for player of the year. Player
Yeah.
of the signing of the season, sorry. So I'll go into number 2 anyway.
Go on.
Milenkovic.
Yep.
Well, no, see, my top 2, the 1 and 2 can go either way. I'm just. Can you guess what that number 1 is? If it's going to be a defender?
Is it a defender?
Yes,
Does he play for Bournemouth?
it does. Yes,
Is it Hudson?
and yeah, and like the both for me, they could have been 1 or 2 for me. I just think they've been
Yeah.
2 of the best defenders this season.
Bargain
Other
buys.
than you, yeah, well, yeah, bargain buys, but I could put them. You could put them in for team of the season defenders as well, to be honest, because they've been absolutely amazing. I mean, all you have to do is look at the table. Look at the table. Look where they are. Look what they've done. This absolute rocks at the back. They look so natural. Both of them look so natural in the teams that they are playing for. It looks like they've been there for seasons,
Yep.
and it's their first season with both teams. It is incredible to see what they've done, and the partnership Milenkovic has got with Murillo. It's like they've been playing with each other like for like 5 seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be. I mean, I know Hodgson's gone off to Real Madrid now, but
That's the
it
quickest
would
40 million ever.
yeah, it would surprise me if Milenkovic stays at Forest. If they don't get, let's say they don't get Champions League, it would surprise me if a big team doesn't come in for him.
I think the only thing I'd say to that is I feel like Murillo is the more desired target out of the two. And I think they would not let both go. They probably would struggle to hold on to both. And I would say Murillo is probably going to get targeted more than Milenkovic as a transfer signing. Just because he's done it for a couple more years and so on. But
Yeah.
completely agree with you. I'll take my top 5. Right, fifth. I'm going to take some out who I was going to say because you've said them and I want to try just add some more names into it. But fifth, I'm going to have to go Marino. Lower down than you put him. Mainly because, alright, look, okay, yeah, he's been brilliant from set pieces and done a good job in striker. But that's not what he was signed for. In general, it's a signing that worked out. Would he have been as effective or had such a role if Havertz hadn't got injured? Probably not because he would have been a bit deeper. But still a very good signing that has worked out for them. It's interesting they're getting Zubimendi. Will he still play as much next season, Marino? Probably not. If you consider Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard. And you'd imagine they're going to get a striker. But I'll put him in at fifth. Next up, I would have included Sarr in this list, but because you said him, I'm going to take him out. I'm going to go for a different Palace player, Lacroix or Lacroix at the back. Very similar to what you said with Milenkovic and Hudson, because he's just been so good. at the Palace back line. And him, Gehi, absolute partnership, brilliant, and can't fault it. Next up, just to include another new name to the list, I'm going to go with Elliot Anderson. Came for big money over to Nottingham Forest. He was very picked out by the Newcastle fans, I think, last year when he played for them as under shining star that was there. And they obviously sold him because of financial fair play reasons. And Forest have 100% benefited from him. He's been that engine in the midfield with Gibbs White a bit ahead of him, and had a really good season. And then I would love to put some different names in, but again, I'm going to go with Milenkovic and Hutchinson, just as you did for 1 and 2, because they have been the best 2 signings of the season, in my opinion. Value for money as well. I did my list more on value. I think they've just been both absolutely brilliant. Just to name off my honourable mention, who you haven't named, Lewis Hall. I think he had a very good start to the season until he got injured.
I didn't include him because he was on loan there last season. It's
Kind of get it.
permanent. Honestly, it was like
But
otherwise he was.
Am I right in saying he didn't really break in last season though? He was there on loan, but it was much more Dan Burning left back, Botman, Shah, and this season he broke through, didn't he?
Yeah. If you were gonna say breakthrough season, 100%, it would be up there for me. But if it was breakthrough season, but signing of the season, it was for me. It was just like.
Yeah,
he wasn't loan last season.
It's like Raya, isn't it?
Obligation to buy. It was like
it's just like David Raya, but David Raya actually played every game last season, whereas this time round.
Here's one that I want to throw in. And I suppose if he had a bit more help in the team, he's on the verge of getting a move to Man United, maybe.
Yeah,
I think
good signing, definitely.
I think he is a player that I think if he does go to United, it's great for him because it's going to be a lot of pressure on his back. But he seems like the type of player that doesn't care.
I mean, he's growing up at Man City.
He looks like he doesn't care. Pressure's not going to affect him.
Yeah.
So I think it was a very good signing from Ipswich. Like how I was saying with Diaz, Southampton went for Brereton Diaz for him to try and keep him up. But Ipswich went for Delap, and if Ipswich had a bit more about them and they'd have spent a bit more money in certain better places, they could have stayed up with Delap quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, I think it's almost like that fire they had at the start of the season went out, didn't it? And if they managed to keep that fire, maybe it would have benefited him more. He would have got some more goals and gone from there.